You're welcome to the Forex Trading and Lifestyle Entrepreneurship channel. Do take a minute to pause this video and read this disclaimer. Hi, it's Victor here from forsuremarkets.com. In today's video, I will be showing you how to use trend lines effectively for trading. Okay, so in my previous video, we established the basics of support and resistance. Okay, and so since we started technical analysis, I want you to understand that all of these concepts I've been sharing with you are not just vague concepts. They are not just theoretical concepts. They are practical concepts. Okay, so when I'm teaching you, you need to be visualizing the charts. You need to be visualizing the real markets, like this kind of market. You need to be visualizing the real market. Okay, so don't just see me drawing stuff here on the whiteboard. Picture it in the real market. Okay, so one of the things we established in our previous videos was the fact that a trend line is basically a line that joins joining two or more supports or resistance or resistances. Support or resistance line, resistance basically. Okay, so that is what your trend line is. Okay, and so we saw, let me just use the whiteboard. So we saw the concept for uptrend. Okay, this is support, right? So you join this. I'm not getting that right. So let's join at least two, then extend it. So this is the last one. So you extend that line further into space. Okay, then for downtrend, you join at least two. From here, you extend it further into space. Okay, so this is the resistance, and then for a sideways market, you join two or more, then extend it into space. So this is resistance, support. Okay, remember the principles. Why are you really learning about price action? Why are you really learning support and resistance? Because the best prices to buy are around supports. Okay, while the best prices to sell are around resistances. Okay, so let's go to a real chart and see how we can draw this trend lines. Okay, so I drew one for euro dollar, so you can see here. Okay, so let's look at the pound dollar and see if we can see. So if we can see anyone, so let's do this. Let's see quickly. I want a very well defined trend. So obviously, understand that it will not always be as perfect as this, but basically you try to fit it into that picture. So let's leave. I don't want to scroll back much. So this is USD JPY. Let's check USD Canadian dollar. Okay, awesome. This is a beautiful trend line forming here. So let me draw a trend line here. So I see a resistance here, I see a resistance here, I see a resistance here, and the way they line up. Why I picked this is because the way they line up, they look like stuff I can join together. Okay, This is it, how to draw your trend line. Okay, anywhere you see support or resistances that you can join together gives you a good trend line. Okay, let me show you another one. Yep. Okay, let's see, can we join this? Okay, so we can join this and extend it further. Okay, so what I just drew here, in between this and this, you can see it looks like a triangle. Okay, I will teach you, you will see another video where we discuss triangles and how to trade them. But for you to even draw your triangles, you need to know how to draw your trend lines effectively. Okay, so you can see it's touching the trend line here, it's touching the trend line here, but it's not touching the trend line here. So what you can do, you try as much as possible to make it touch the three lines. So I'll shift that up. I'm trying to move that up now. Okay, yeah, I got it there. So you can see now it's touching the three. Okay, so the concept of drawing trend lines effectively, it's about being able to fit curve. It's called line fitting or curve fitting. There is no particular way to draw your trend line. All you have to do is make sure it touches as many support or resistance as possible, and that's the basic principle of drawing trend lines effectively. Okay, so this is a good trend line, this is a good trend line. So let's look for another one, USD Swiss franc. Okay, oh, this is sweet. You know when you do this for a while, your eyes can actually draw the trend lines. Once you look at it, you can see the trend lines with your eye. So you can see here, I joined here. You have one resistance here, resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, resistance 4, resistance 5, 6. Okay, but you can see that your trend line doesn't have to be at the exact top of all the support. Okay, so that's why we call it curve fitting or line fitting. So you can see this one is in the across the wicks there, so the resistance can actually be above here. The resistance is above the line, but all we are trying to do is make sure that this trend line touches as many resistance points as possible. Okay, so you can see it touches the wicks. So you can see the wicks at the top there. You won't know what wicks are now until we do candlesticks. Okay, but you can see these lines that shoot up, extend up, those are called wicks. So even if your trend line is not touching the top of the wicks, make sure it cuts across the wicks, as many of them as possible. So you can see we touched here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I wanted to make it touch the sixth one, this one here, this one, I could still drag it a bit further. Okay, so there's no particular way to draw your trend line. Just make, some people draw trend lines better than others. Just make sure it touches as many resistance points as possible. Okay, 2 or more, minimum of 2 points. Then you extend it, so you don't just draw it and stop at the last one. Extend it further. Okay, extend it further. Let me look for one last one. Last one. This is AUD USD. Let me check AUD NZD. AUD card. Okay, I need to look for one for sideways market. AUD JPY. Awesome. This is awesome. Okay, so let's look at this. So I'll draw one here, as many lines as possible. So remember, you can draw this across, extend further. Okay, now remember we said the best prices to buy are support and resistance. So we're not just drawing these trend lines for drawing sake. First of all, we established a trend. We have, in fact, you can even draw a channel there at the top. You can draw a channel there at the top as well. You can draw trend line like this. So this is 1, 2, extend it, then extend it further. This is good enough. Okay, so how would I trade this? First of all, establish an uptrend. Okay, so we have a low, a high, a lower, a higher low, a higher high here. Okay, that is a trend. Let's see if I can pick something from the back. No, probably would not have been able to trade this. Low, low, low. Okay, so how would I have traded this if I wanted to? Once we established a high, let me see another line here. Once you establish a higher high at this point, what you could have done is waited for the price to come down to this support line here, and then if it comes down, you buy. That's the thing with technical analysis. There is no certainty, there's no guarantee. All you do is wait. If it comes to your trap, set your trap. If it comes to your trap, all well and good. If it doesn't come to your trap, you miss that trade and you wait for the next one. But what is most important here is that you can see that from this higher high, we established that this is an uptrend. And even though it didn't come back to give us an entry, it went up big and established that this really was an uptrend all the way up here. Okay, so that is how you draw your trend line effectively, and also combine the principles of support and resistance for making trades. Okay, basically making trades simply means knowing exactly the best price to buy. Okay, so I hope you've learned something new in this video. If you've learned something new in this video, give us a thumbs up. If this is your first time watching any of our videos, make sure you click the subscribe button below the video and click the bell beside the subscribe button. Click all notifications so that you get notified whenever we upload a new video. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful and a pleasurable day. Cheers.